From the old legends of Sleepy Hollow of a Hessian soldier who lost his head due to a cannonball in a long-forgotten Revolutionary War battle, Four Horsemen Studios has produced their incredible version of the Headless Horseman figure. Let's dig into this. And here we have it out of the wrapping. The Four Horsemen Studios Headless Horseman. Some really nice artwork, and I hope I'm saying his name right, by Nate Bearstitch. Some really nice artwork on this box. We're on the side here. Got some technical information on the back there. Really nice picture of the Headless Horseman back there. And then on this side, there's a nice little, I'm going to try to get it close to the camera, but nice little backstory on the Headless Horseman that they did. You're more than welcome to pause the video and read that if you will. But yeah, it's really neat stuff. Now, really nice thing, I don't do the unboxing while filming, and we won't be doing it the full time, but this has a really cool box. It actually has magnetic clasps on both sides of the box. So undo both sides of those and lift it up, and you have the Headless Horseman there in the package. Now, on the inside of that cover is a really nice piece of artwork there that you could use as like a backdrop for when you have the figure out. That's a really cool thing they did there. I'm really liking that. So we're going to go ahead and tear this open and dig into it. And here we have it out of the box. First thing we're going to start off with is the accessories. We'll start with the hands. He comes with 3 sets of alternative hands. On his right hand, when you get him, he has a hand that's kind of clawing, as you can see. Very nice. We'll go by arm too, so we'll go with right arm first. So the right arm, you get a clawing hand. You get a sword holding hand, almost a fist. And then you get this hand. This hand has a little ball joint on it. Now, what that ball joint is for the heads. You flip it over, so his hand's open like that with the palm out. On the bottom of the head, there is a ball joint there. You stick the hand's ball into that ball joint, and now you have a hand holding the head like he's going to throw it. Now we're going to go to the left hands. His left hand that it comes with, and keep in mind, this might vary. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe this is pretty standard. He has a sword holding hand. Then you get another hand which looks more like a clenched fist. And I'm also thinking this might be for his reins on his horse too. Then you have, just like in the right hand, a clenched hand, like reaching out, trying to grasp your soul. Very neat. All super well detailed. On the back of that hand, you can see the pad. Even the little bolts or rivets are painted. It's painted in a really nice purple color too. I'm not a huge fan of purple typically, but that's a nice purple. Now for the figure. So, the figure comes with this cape. This cape is not attached when you get it. What you have to do is you have to remove the head, and then this neck guard, his collar. Flip it over here, you can kind of see. This collar is a separate piece from the figure. It's got a little peg down here in the back of the neck Once you remove the head, you can wiggle this out, and then this cape has a nice little chain on it. Put it down, you put the collar back on, and then you put the head back on. And that's how you get it on there. The cloak cape is made out of, it feels like a cotton blend. And it does have a wire that runs from the neck all the way down to the end, and then all the way around. So you can bend it and pose it how you want. So if you have them riding on the horse, you obviously want it blowing back. If you have them standing there, you can bring it in and fold it and bend it into place to where you can cover up stuff. Very nice detail. The figure itself, his head can turn 360 degrees all the way around. You can bend and look down. It can kind of tilt up. Whoop, I just yanked his head right off. Well, now you can see he's got a little peg there. So, and then you can probably see even better now where that peg is to remove the collar. So, hey, happy accidents, right? We'll Bob Ross it a little bit. And, I mean, it just clips right in there real easy. So, really nice. All right, so head up, head down, looking to the left, looking to the right, looking back at me. I know, I'm silly sometimes. All right, as far as articulation goes on the figure, his arms do not bend out very far at all. He has, you can see, kind of see it's molded up to look really nice, but his arms will bend out about 45 degrees. That's about it. And that is tight. Just like most NECA figures, I'm noticing they use very similar plastic to NECA. So you need to be careful with the joints. It can be soft. You know, use a hair dryer to heat up the joint, loosen it up. Hot water. You know, remember, I mean, you do all that at your own risk, though. Elbow joint. He can only bend at the elbow that far. Not the worst. Wrist can spin all the way around. So, and he can also spin at the elbow. He does have elbow twist, so that's nice. His wrist pegs just have that straight down and up motion. And with the wrist guards on, it's not very easy to get much motion there. But for a figure like this, you don't really need a whole lot. Legs. Well, actually, take that back. We'll go with the fabric here. So this is actually rubber. So very flexible. So when you kick those legs up, you can see it moves out of the way very nicely. It's a nice thing they did there. The belt on him is also a rubbery plastic. It's very nice, very well detailed. The belt buckle, the rivets, even the rivets in his clothing, you know, all super well detailed. All the way around to the back, you can see, you know, the buckles and everything all painted. Now, I did notice he has these 3 holes in his back. After looking through all the stuff, I don't see anything that really plugs into those that he comes with. So that's too big, and obviously nothing in square. But I do know that 4 Horsemen Studios make a lot of accessories for a lot of like their Mythic Legions lines and other things. So I'm not super familiar, but they may make something that you could put on his back. He does have slight ab bend. Not really so much backwards, but you get a little decent forward. And you can twist at the waist. Very nice. Back to the legs. The legs, I'm going to try to get that cape out of the way, can go pretty much straight out. So not too bad. Not too horribly bad going backwards. His knees, just single pivot. So you can get the Captain Morgan stance. That's about it. He does have knee twist. His ankles do toe tip up and toe tip down. They do twist. But not really an ankle pivot that I'm seeing. Oh, yes, it is. I'm sorry. It does have angle pivot. I just didn't break that loose beforehand. So, as you can see live, you have to be careful. But you can, I mean, if it's just look real close, yep, he does have that ankle pivot and ankle twist on both ankles. That's nice. The bottoms of the feet are molded and painted in that nice purple as well. I mean, just the color separation that they do on these figures, the amount of detail. I mean, it's just incredible what they do. I'm super impressed with them. He does come with 2 head portraits. So, actually, you know what? I'm going to pull that head off again. So you have the standard head portrait, and then you have the flaming head portrait. Now, these flames are a soft rubber translucent plastic all the way through. It's a little, I mean, it's obviously hard towards the back here where it's the thickest, but it is soft, plasticky rubber. Now, he does have, let's see if I can do this on camera really well. So if you see the green paint in the mouth and in the eyes, if you have a display case or just a handy little black light, you get some really creepy effects. But also, that green paint, I know I'm in a lit studio, so it's kind of hard to tell. Let's see if it'll work. It does glow in the dark. I don't know if you can see that glowing. It'd be short and quick, though, because I'm not giving it a huge charge. But you can probably see it dying down just a little bit. Now, the translucent plastic in this head does not glow. But when you hit it with that black light, it does give it a nice blue flame effect. And then against the eyes in there with the paint, that's really, really quite neat. No black light with black light. No black light with black light. I know, I'm being annoying now. So, we already did that hand. He comes with this. It took me a minute to figure out what this was. It's just got a little peg on the back. And I was like, what in the world is this? You know, I looked at the bottom of the head. I'm like, well, that doesn't really fit there. You know, it just comes right out. Came to realize if you put this hand on where he's throwing the jack-o'-lantern head, well, you don't want a big hole. So they created this to plug in there. I'm not going to plug it all the way in. But it's the head. You have the spinal column and all the meat and everything. It's to make it look like he's pulled his own head off and it's been decapitated. Yikes. Really cool detail they added. And it's probably not going to be the easiest for me. Oh, there we go. Got it out with a glove. But stick his head back on quick before I forget. And it rolls away. He also comes with a sword. The hands are a nice, soft, rubbery plastic. So it's not hard to put that sword in that hand. I mean, bang, I did it with these gloves on. These things are a pain to work with. Super easy to put that in there. And then comes out just as fast. Super nice. We'll set him off to the side for a moment. Get all his bits and bobs out of the way. We'll go to the horse. A horse is a horse, of course, of course. Very cool, very well designed horse here. The amount of detail they put in him. And know what? I didn't check. I just noticed his eye's green. Oh, yeah. I wonder if that does glow. No, it doesn't look like the horse. Oh, wow. Even in the mane. If you look with that black light, he's got green paint in that mane. You don't see that with the lights off, with the black light off. That is super neat. I did not notice that. That is cool. It's not the cleanest paint job, but, you know, it's supposed to be like, oh, I don't know, a necromantic ooze effect, I guess. I don't know. that's neat. I don't know. What about the nose and mouth? No, nothing in the nose and mouth. Oh, even on the feet there. Holy cow. Look at that. That's cool. When I was messing with this earlier, I noticed the bottom of his feet were painted green. Which was like, oh, that's a cool feature to give it a look. And I even hit it with a black light and I was like, oh yeah, okay, it brightens up. That's cool. I didn't notice that the fur and the front do it as well. That's so neat. Let's go over this. Oh, and the tail. Look at that. As you can see, this is a true unboxing video. You know, I'm noticing stuff that live with you guys. That's cool. All right, enough on that. Let's go back to the horse and the articulation and everything. And I'm probably boring you all to death with that. So, as you can see, made out of molded rubber on the saddle. Very hard. You know, some of the stuff's flexible, so you know, I believe these are called stirrups. I'm not a horse guy. I do apologize if I say anything wrong here. His reins here, it feels like it's a fabric that's been painted or coated with something to give it the old distressed look. But I'm not 100% sure. I mean, it is super duper flexible. I mean, you could twist it and tie it and do all sorts of stuff with it. Articulation. Let me move that back. All right, so the head at the neck can look down just that far. And then up about there. The neck area, he can look down a little bit, and he can pull up a little bit. Not a whole lot. Okay. His mane, okay, can be removed. And you can put on a more wispy in the wind mane. If I can find the holes. There we go. So you can get that like horseback riding, galloping through. And while I'm thinking about it, that mane also has the green paint on it. Oh, it does glow. I'll be darned. So the longer I hold it on, I see the thicker parts where the paint's kind of glopped and glooped. You can kind of, let's see if I can turn this around, see if I can get it on camera. So right here, you'll see there's some bigger gloops of that paint. And get that really close, and I'm going to turn it off. You can see it die down. So it is the same glow-in-the-dark paint. I'll be darned. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to put his other mane back on. Just because I kind of like that look right now. All right. His tail does go up. It does rotate 360 degrees. Front legs do kick out quite far. He does have a knee joint. And at that knee, he can bend, or twist, I'm sorry. His ankles at the hoof can move forward a little bit. Ooh, that is tight. And can go back. Ooh, these are very tight. You can kind of hear it click into place too. The leg can go back in about that far. And yes, I know I have the knee bent. So you can get some nice trotting, galloping effects going if you want. So, like I said, I'm not much of a horse guy, so let's see if I can get a little pose going. Because with these back legs, I was really impressed with this. Those back legs can go almost straight back. So you could get a nice rearing up with the horseman on it, I assume. Might be a little difficult to do, but And he doesn't have any pegs on the bottom of his hooves, so, I mean, getting him, he's not going to balance. Even with his tail, okay, with his tail, I can get him to stand there, but a gentle breeze, yeah, I can see him wobbling. If you have something to hold him, it'd be awesome. But you could also get some really cool, jumping through the air effects too if you wanted. If you had a nice clear base or something like that to hold him with, that'd be neat. His hind legs do, let's see here, kind of go out and in. So you get a little bit of like hip joint action there. So for different poses, obviously. Now, he does have hind leg. Oh, wow, that is tight. His hind legs do. So, I mean, you can even kick back farther. You can see that knee joint right there. And obviously, hind legs also bend there. He does have a pivot there, as you can see. And he does have hoof movement. The hoof does not twist there, it doesn't look like. Yeah, that looks pretty solid in there. But get some really nice articulation there. Let's move that back down. Oh, and that hind leg, yeah, it can only go about that far. So, yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think that's how a horse walks, personally. I'm terrible about horses, so to be all honest, not my favorite animal. They kind of scare me. That much animal and that much power, I tend to keep my distance. But very, very cool. You can put the horseman on the horse, obviously. Let's see if I can get this going here. So, there we go. He will sit on the horse. I know I have his arms in a goofy position right now, but he can saddle up. And the really nice thing about this, I'm going to move this leg down, make him a little bit more stable right now because I'm about to let him stand there. When I was talking about the box with the magnetic clasps, if you're displaying him, he is the little root there on the top of his head, is just a little higher than that, but I mean, you could still use that as a really nice backdrop for your figure. The horseman on the horse. I'm going to move this back out of the way. On the horse stands at 11.5 inches tall. The way I have him positioned. I mean, he could be taller depending on how you position him, obviously. So, take him off. Just the horse to, let's see here. Is that head all the way up? All right, with the head all the way up and, yeah, the tail doesn't get any higher. The horse just standing is 9.5 inches at the top of the tallest point of his ear. The figure, yeah, straighten his legs out, straighten his head. I took his head off again. Jeez, that's kind of easy to do. But that's just me. That's not. And as you can see here on the little mat, it's a brand new figure. So some of that paint, you're going to have some paint flake. Just from the joints and stuff like that. All right. So the figure himself stands at, we'll just put that on the bottom of his foot, 7.25 inches tall. So it's not a huge figure. The cape at full extension, 14 inches long, or wide, I should say. not too shabby. So with all the accessories that you get with this figure, the size, I mean, that horse, he's got some heft. The head, not too bad. The figure, even with the cape on, not bad at all. A Batman. Sorry. Every time I see a cape wide out, I think of Batman. You know, putting the sword in the hand, super easy. Articulation on this thing is great. So let's get into my rating here. I know I was just covering that up with my hands. For this figure as a whole, I am super impressed with it. Not something I typically collect, but you know, with it being Halloween coming up, I thought you might enjoy something a little bit more spooky. I will give this a solid. Oh, let's see here. I mean, obviously, we gave Batman a perfect overall score of 10. I'm going to give this a solid 9. I'd even push to a 9.5. But I think I'll stick with a solid 9. I mean, it's an awesome, awesome collectible. If you're into this kind of stuff, I mean, I would highly recommend picking up. You know, this was quite expensive. You know, this came back. This is I believe, the second release of this figure. I think the original came out in October of 2022. This one came out October of 2023. I picked this up back in January. It's just been sitting, waiting for me to do a review on it. I knew I wanted to do a Halloweenish review with it. So, I mean, it's a couple years old now from the original release. You know, this is a great figure. I don't know if they're going to do more. I'm going to have to look it up, because if they have different variations of this, I might be interested in collecting these myself. So I'm going to give it a solid 9. You know, there's always room for a little bit of improvement, I think. Articulation on the horse himself. I mean, me not being a horse guy and seeing horses running on a track or running in a field is my experience with them. I mean, with the stirrups, you're able to turn them so you could get his feet in there. I mean, it's super soft, rubbery plastic. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's good. The figure himself, I wish you could move his arms out a little bit more? Sure, but I'm not that worried about it, because, I mean, you don't really need a whole lot. You're probably going to be posing him with the horse anyway. So it's more likely his hands are going to be, you know, turned around holding onto the reins of the horse. So, you know, I'll give him a solid 4.5 out of 5. I mean, the amount of articulation and the amount of detail they put into these, I am just super duper impressed with. These things are just awesome. Well, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, you know, feel free to ask in the comments section. We're happy to answer them. You know, if you like this format of the video that we're doing instead of the overhead view that we have been doing, please let us know, because we can continue to do this, or we can go back to the old way. I'm totally open, however you like it. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Hey, here's another DragonDen video you might like.
And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button.
And you can hit the notification bell if you'd like to know when our videos come out.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.